Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with justice for all. We pray. Almighty God, your wisdom created and upholds all things in heaven and on earth. You have placed us as citizens in this nation, in which we are also given a vote and voice concerning its government. Give us discernment that we may exercise this civic duty as best we can for the benefit of our people now and in the future in accordance with your word. Give wisdom not only to us and all other voters, but especially to the leaders who will be elected, that all foolish or wicked plans may come to no success, and that noble, fair, and beneficial counsels be heeded and put into effect for the good of the country they serve. Spare us from harm, grant peace and security, and let your gospel be preached unhindered in this nation. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. All right, we have roll call. 18. Supervisor Kroll has to be excused and Supervisor Brown missing. Very well. I need a motion for the approval of the agenda. If someone wants to make the motion on your pad. Moment. We're catching up. Just relax. Okay. I have a motion by Supervisor Poppy, second by Supervisor Romden. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion, you may register your vote. 18 yes, none opposed. Motion carries. Would look for a motion to approve. I have a motion by Supervisor Swaggle to approve the previous minutes, second by Supervisor Augustine. Is there discussion of that motion? You may register your vote. 18 yes, none opposed. Motion carries. Citizens input.
The board will hear concerns members of the public wish to raise, but will not discuss or take action on any matter until the matter can be placed on an agenda with proper notice to the public. The board welcomes citizens to present their concerns to the board in a professional manner relevant to issues affecting Kewaunee County. Each citizen may take 3 minutes to present their concern, and the board has allotted a total of 20 minutes for this portion of the meeting. Please be mindful, the board may halt any disruptive comments and any comments that are threatening, vulgar, or abusive. Barb Lumay.
If you would come up to the microphone, please. Can we make sure that's turned on?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to address the council this evening. My name is Barb Lemieux, and I'm president and CEO of New North. We're an 18-county economic development corporation here in Northeast Wisconsin. 1.3 million people we serve, and Kewaunee County is clearly a part of the work that we do. I'm here tonight to talk about the partnership that we have with KCEDC and the relationship that I have with Ben. I'm not here to get involved as to your funding and how much and the level, but I really felt it was important for you to all understand in the 18 counties that we serve, I'm not aware of any county that doesn't financially support the county economic development organization. It is critically important in that, we're a staff of 7 people to cover 18 counties. So we rely on our local partners. We call them the feet on the street, so to speak. And I'll just give you some examples. One would be every other Friday, we have a New North local partner huddle call. Ben is on those calls. We share grant opportunities. We share new programs. When it comes to site location, if we have a company that doesn't quite know exactly where in Northeast Wisconsin they want to site their plant or their building, that comes to us. we reach out to our local partners, in this case, Ben, to find out what's the inventory of the property that might be able to fit the attractive talents' needs. When it comes to business retention visits, we rely on our local partners to make those calls, to work daily with the business community. What are your needs? How can we get them addressed? Can we work with WEDC? You'll hear from Jim in a minute on what might be the next program or opportunity that we can ask the state to get into. We developed a cool stuff campaign where we highlighted the cool and innovative places and spaces all across Northeast Wisconsin. We know this is critically important for talent attraction. We're here to tell you that we were really proud to work with Ben and the amount of material he submitted. Actually, our annual report, and I have some of these I'll leave with you. Your lighthouse actually was our cover of our annual report. And these go to thousands of people in our marketing efforts for talent attraction and business attraction. So thank you to Ben, for submitting the content for this particular publication. We also have our New North Hires Heroes campaign where we will recruit veterans that are looking to relocate. We will physically go to the military bases, but we work with our local partners on job opportunities that might be here for those veterans. We want them here. We also just launched a portal where we can match job opportunities with veterans' resumes. And again, working with Ben to make that happen. We also know the youth apprenticeship programs. This region, sub-region, leads the state. And again, it's my work with Ben and the KCEDC. So in closing, I just want to say thank you for your prior investment in the organization, and I'm here to address any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. What do we have next?
James Cleveland.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great night. My name is Jim Cleveland. I'm with Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation and the Office of Rural Prosperity. And tonight, I just wanted to come by and talk to you and give you a quick update on a really cool new project that we're working with Ben and the KCEDC on called Thrive Rural Wisconsin. Hopefully, you maybe have heard a little bit about it. But let me give you kind of the background. In December of this year, Ben and his team at KCEDC applied to a new initiative called the Thrive Rural Wisconsin program. And at the end of the day, his proposal to us was one of 10 selected throughout the state of Wisconsin. There was 33 applications that came in. Ben and Kewaunee County EDC was selected as one of those 10. The initiative from the Office of Rural Prosperity is a way to bring together local leadership, set common goals in a neutral and facilitated structure, and access resources that will help them act on those goals. Provided at no cost to the community, the Thrive Rural Wisconsin program brings financial management, project management, and technical assistance to advance housing, community economic development, community facilities, and sustainable energy projects, and connects them to the other resources that are going to be needed to be successful. By participating in the Thrive Rural Wisconsin program, KCEDC is attempting to create a transformative model for capacity building and sustainability for rural economic development organizations while delivering economic growth across Wisconsin through an innovative housing initiative called Project Homestead. Over the last 10 months, I've had the pleasure to work with Ben and the team from KCEDC, as well as a group of committed community members determined to determine how to best advance Project Homestead. During our meetings and work, it is clear that this team is not only committed to finding solutions, but at the same time being very thoughtful about making sure it is the right solution. To accomplish this, KCEDC is in the process of hiring a consultant to bring a data-driven approach to make recommendations. KCEDC and the local Thrive team will use a $25,000 grant from WEDC that will be used for engaging the consultant to complete a comprehensive market analysis. Then with a second $25,000 grant from the Thrive program, a feasibility and implementation plan will be completed and shared with community stakeholders such as this body. It is because of the working with Casey EDC and the partnerships with local units of government and business that this can come alive. And I just want to say thank you for your support of Ben and his work. Without it, folks like WEDC, New North, it's just critical that we have that local on the ground support. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have anyone else? Does anyone else wish to speak to the board this evening? Anyone else wish to speak? Anyone wish to speak? All right. Move on. Appointments, we have none. Annual reports, we will go to the county administrator.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I can be very brief this evening. Most of the important work that myself and the department heads have been working on will be covered in the budget. But I did want to just also make the board aware, a little bit of foreshadowing that, remember we talked a month or two ago about the BEAD rural broadband expansion work that's happening. The broadband subcommittee has continued to meet to work through that process, and we are very likely to be bringing a resolution from that committee to the board to be voted on within the next month or two. So I just wanted to keep the board abreast that that project is still working along. The timelines have shifted a little bit because it's a very complex project with state and federal approvals necessary, but you will likely be seeing a resolution about that project either in December or January. So we're not at a place today where we have a lot of information, but it's going to move quickly when it does move. So I wanted the board to just be aware and expecting that when it comes out in, like I said, either next month or January, it is most likely at this point. So thank you very much. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, that concludes my report for this evening.
Any questions?
I just have,
Supervisor Romden.
before that, when that resolution is prepared, will we be able to get it in plenty of time before the board meeting? So we'll be able to look at it, and if we have any questions, we can either contact the subcommittee or contact you, or so we don't just have them when we sit down here.
Yes, that'll be my expectation as well.
Okay.
And potentially Supervisor Romden, since you brought it up, there's likely to be a resolution in support of one or more providers for certain pieces of the project. And then separately a potential. And then separately a potential resolution that may have to do with any funding related with county funds. So yes, both of those we'll expect to get out in plenty of time.
All right. Any other questions? Very well. We will move on then to committee reports. Are there any questions on any of the reports which you have reviewed? Supervisor Shelton.
I have two questions. The first is from the Highway and Solid Waste Committee. In the minutes, it said implements of husbandry are being dropped for oversized permits only. I don't come from a farming background or a dairy background. So what is that? What are implements of husbandry, and how does that relate to oversized permits?
Supervisor Poppy.
Implements of husbandry is a state program that allows weight on a truck to travel on roads. And so the state pretty much controls the amount of weight that they can put in these trucks. And so like townships do have some control. If it's overweight, they can shut that hauler down or have them, call in the state and have it scaled. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, and then it's the permits are being dropped for oversized, the oversized permits. Can you explain that a little bit too?
I think when I talked to Marty, oversized permits are, there aren't many there that go through our town or county.
That'd be really, really big trucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
That makes sense. Supervisor
Yeah.
Augustine, you're a farmer and on that committee.
I think some of the oversized permits, we're talking about tractors and implements coming down the road that are, I don't know what is the legal road width, but if you're 18 to 20 feet wide, they wanted you to get a permit.
Yeah.
For those, and we just kind of dropped those, So a lot of that had to do with implements being towed by tractors and stuff like that too.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense.
My second question is from Land and Water. The minutes refer to the reclass and reorganization proposal. Is there a short explanation of what that might be?
Supervisor Augustine, we're back to you.
So Davina's office, we've had, some turnover there and we're looking to fill a position there now. So we looked at the job classifications within that office. They have not been, renewed or looked at for the last, I believe it was 15 to 17 years. So we're just bringing them up to state standards at this time. It did pass the committee level, so it has to go on to executive level, and then it would come in front of the board if it goes through those next levels. It's just changing the job descriptions to bring them more up to date with the state codes of the land and water.
All right,
Thank you.
other questions? Very well. We will move on. First reading of ordinance, we have none, correct? So we'll move on to resolutions, whenever you're ready for the first one.
A resolution granting the petition for bridge aid, Town of Red River, fiscal impact $9,250 from County Aid Bridge Fund.
I have a motion by Supervisor Romden, a second by Supervisor Poppy. Is there discussion of that motion? Very well. You may register your vote. Yes, none opposed. Motion carries. Whenever you're ready for the next motion, resolution.
2025 budget and 2024 tax levy.
Is there a motion? Supervisor Romden, motion, second by Supervisor Baker. Is there discussion of that motion? Supervisor Romden?
The resolution that we have, showing the net tax levy and the tax rate, those are still what they're supposed to be? Okay. Because I know we had some discussion at finance that those might have changed, but I'm hoping that they're gonna stay as is for now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to hear from you, Mr. Kunish. Especially when we're about to adopt a budget.
So this is the administrator's proposed budget handed out in September. That plus what's on your desk, which is changes made by the finance committee to that budget, is what will be voted on now. And the resolution you have in front of you was updated through every one of these changes on here, including last Friday. There were 3 of them. So everything you have in front of you is up to date.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, are there other questions? Any further discussion? Supervisor Baker? You're not green. There you go.
Last week, the sheriff, let me know that the, jail inspector had come through. And, I guess I would rather the sheriff update the whole,
Is he back?
board.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
On
He's
what they found,
hiding
but-
behind Supervisor Teske.
But following that, I have a motion.
Unintentional, I am sure. We're in red tonight. 2 shirts.
So, yes, we've all been aware that that roof has been an ongoing issue probably long before even I was sheriff. We've been kind of kicking that can down the road. We were aware of some places where we experienced both the staining in the ceiling tiles from moisture coming through, as well as having to put buckets on the floor. We had an unfortunate alignment of events where we had a good sized rainfall along with a state jail inspection all on the same day. So there was in fact some water that was identified in J block. And upon seeing this, the inspector immediately said that block is no longer habitable. So we have a 2-cell block or 2-cell cell block that is now basically shut down until we remedy it. We're very fortunate that that didn't rear its ugly head in Huber or even in the main hallways, which may have resulted in a total shutdown of the facility. So we're very grateful that the water came through where it came through, and it was very minimal impact to our operations. That being said, it is an impact to our operations. So we do have to look at it. I know that it was brought up. It was turned over to facilities for them to pursue a bid, which they did and had forwarded that. So I mean, we're well along. We've got a good idea of what the implications are. Now it's just a matter of process, whether that has to go through an RFP and what the next steps are. But that's how basically it brought itself to the concern tonight. It was our hope to kind of course, address it, but probably not sooner than, or later than sooner. It's just flipped around that it's going to be sooner than later.
And you want to tell the board, I don't believe that anybody outside of myself and Supervisor Baker have that figure, if you want to let them know what that proposal was.
So I believe off the top of my head, there are two proposals. One is a partial tear off, which was around 80,000, and there was a total tear off at about 206, about 206,000. So those are the two proposals, both of those a flat roof solution, not a pitched roof solution, both those a flat roof solution.
And I know that I was reading this not quite on my way here. But are you able to explain any further to the supervisors the difference between the two proposals? Because I didn't have a chance to read through them thoroughly enough to completely understand, but I'm not a roofing guy either.
And nor am I, sir. So the one is a partial, which would mean that they would basically go in and identify those areas that would need addressing, and then address those issues. The second proposal, that complete tear off, would be wholesale, side to side, front to back, removal and replacement of the roof. So I think it's probably a good estimate. Again, at this point, we probably move forward with some RFPs to say what are some other options or other bids for similar services. But that's really what we have to decide is, are we at a place where we can just do the partial, or are they going to say, we have to do the full? I think a lot of it goes back to our concerns over length of it. Do we want to invest in a $206,000 solution if that's, let's say, a 40-year, or if that 80-some thousand solution is a 10-year or a 20-year? We have to look at what our goals and aspirations were in regards to that building. So I think that's going to be the difference. The 86,000 is going to be that short-term fix. That 206,000 is going to be that, sort of 40-year permanent fix.
So that 86,000 is going to focus only on the area that is currently leaking, essentially, but the rest of it is going to remain, and it is the same age as the part that's leaking. So
Correct.
it would seem
They'll
like a-
basically make corrective actions to the extent where they feel it'll be a short-term fix. Because when we talk about where it leaks, we don't know that. We know where it has come through. That leak could be 20 feet away from where it actually came through. That's the dynamics of a flat roof. So it's not like a typical home roof where it leaks in the closet, the roof directly above the closet is where the issue is. Here, it could literally be across the building, but it found its path of least resistance in that spot. So again, not a roofing person like you, but I think it's a matter of what solution we want, long-term or short-term fix.
Well, it would seem, again, I'm not a roofing person, but it would seem to me that you're going to have to do the full $200,000 if you want to have any assurance that you're actually going to address the problem, that you're going to have a level of confidence that it is indeed corrected. Supervisor Baker.
So with that information, I'd like to make a motion to transfer from the general fund balance to the sheriff jail outlay account.
Okay.
A total of the high quote plus about a 15% contingency. So that would be $225,000.
All right.
Now this approves that up to spending up to that amount if we approve this change here.
That is
I
correct.
do believe there is a substantial chance we will find a cheaper solution than that.
Right.
But this
So-
gives us the and I think we need to move quickly on it. That's why I'd like
Well-
to include it in the budget.
Based on what the sheriff said, that would seem pretty evident. So your motion, you've made a motion to amend the budget, so it will be in the budget for the amount of $225,000. Do you have that?
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, it would need to be a motion to amend the current motion.
Current motion.
So the current motion is to approve the
Okay.
budget. This would be a motion to amend.
Amend that
We would
motion.
take that up first with a vote and move forward with that if it gets a second.
Very good. So you have the motion before you. Is there a second?
I'll second,
Okay, second. Who said second? Supervisor Romden?
but then I have a
Thank you.
question.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second, and we have a question by Supervisor Romden.
The money that's going into the 25 budget then for that outlay is going to be coming out of the jail fund that's existing right now. It's not going to, where are we getting this money?
It'd be out of the general fund balance.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
I thought we'd take it out of the jail fund.
Supervisor Vollenweider?
So once we complete the RFPs, that's gonna come back to what committee to make the recommendation to the board? That'll become the
That's a-
finance?
Excellent question. It would have to go to finance would be. I would, we wanted to go to jail study or finance. I would think finance. So it'll go to finance. That's
Okay.
the understanding. That's
Thank
what
you.
I'm getting from my left. So we'll go to finance and then it would come back to. It would come back to the board, right? Mr. Depot? After it goes through finance, it would come before the full board and would only require a majority vote? Okay, because of the way it's doing. Because of doing it now during the budget, it would only have to have a majority vote versus a 2/3 vote later on. All right,
Thank you.
another question. Supervisor Swaggle.
Are other bids going to be taken besides just two?
Yes,
And
that's,
a bid on a possible sloped roof to compare? for
I
comparison
don't
value?
know that there will be any bid requested on a sloped roof. We know that would be substantial. We had that previously and we know that it's substantially higher.
All right, thank you, sir.
Now, and you know, after all, it has had a flat roof on there for 50, 60 years. Supervisor Augustine,
If we're doing the roof repair, I know there's repairs that inside that need to be done. Is this something we should look at this time too, to adding to that, to continue to do all those repairs to the cell blocks and doors too?
well, my thought process, my response would be that that would be challenging since we don't have bids, but if the sheriff wants to speak to that, he's certainly welcome to. Again, I think that would be challenging without having a real good idea.
And I would agree. I think the idea, we know that we've got some other costs that are coming. We have reached out to other vendors, subsequent to one of our public safety meetings in regards to some of those repairs. In that, inspection, she did identify things as well, that she would like remedied. They're the same things that we've already identified and we're waiting those quotes back. But again, we don't have the numbers. So I think I'd feel more comfortable once we get them to then bring it up through public safety to finance and then to this full board. Because right now we don't have any solid numbers on those repairs, nor any real sense of urgency as we do with the roof.
I mean, certainly there could be another amendment if you wish, if somebody wished to make another amendment to the motion for an amount that they think, but I just, I think that's kind of going to be difficult. And I think further, getting a 2/3 vote on things that have to be done. Otherwise, the jail inspector is unhappy. I don't think will be that difficult anyway. Supervisor Baker.
This is to the sheriff. You already have some outlay in the jail on your budget. It's
Correct.
not, that doesn't have any specific use right now.
Correct. We did have that in for that main door. That main entrance door is the one that we identified based on a rough estimate that we do have in there, but nothing else that it's been identified. So just that front door,
But I think there was 14,000 or 20,000 in.
14,000.
Okay, so that's still in there and we have not, we are designating that for the door only.
Correct. That has not been
Okay,
expended at
okay.
this time.
Jail assessment. 20,000 this year, jail assessment.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I wanna, okay.
So I guess there's a question, is there also, there's general, I mean, there's funds set aside to make repairs to the jail in that assessment fund?
The jail assessment fund, which collects funds through the court system, has about 14,000 budgeted for building purposes. And that's in the budget in 2025, like it has been for a while. The 20,000 for the doors is in 2024. It may not get done. We may have to roll that one forward.
Okay,
But those are two different amounts in 2 different years, but they're both in the budget already for that building.
so my question was that 14,000 is there to do this kind of repairs?
Correct. That 14,000, that jail assessment fund is an ongoing fund that continues on. It's not a yearly fund. That's derived by fees. And so that continues and we use that. We have statutorily have to use that for the purpose of inmate care or building improvements. So that's something that's been rolling all these years because it's slowly added to over the years and then we can take from it. And we've done that over the years. We've identified a project that may benefit the inmates or the conditions and we'll utilize that expenditure in jail assessments. That's its own little isolated fund.
Okay.
Okay, Supervisor Teske, you've been waiting patiently, then I'll come to Supervisor.
I think you
Vogelweiler.
kind of answered my question, but that flat roof cannot be, you can't put a trussed roof up there?
Great
You
expense,
can, that was an estimate we got back in like 07, 08 when I first started, but it is significantly more than a flat roof. So that's the only difference. And again, for the length of time that we're looking of occupying it, I don't know that that would be, I guess fruitful. Be different if that was our final solution for the next 50 years. But we know that we're looking to just get this, moving forward until we come up with the final solution for that facility. So the truss roof, I think, would be overkill for lack of a better phrase.
But could the building stand a roof like that?
I assume it could, but again, that would probably take a structural engineer to verify, but I don't think it would be that much additional weight from what's on that flat roof. But again, I think the recommendations when Greg Graybro brought the gentleman over, their recommendation was a flat roof. I think when they looked at it with their expertise, they said that doing a hip roof would be less beneficial than just replacing the flat roof.
Supervisor Vollenweider.
So aside from the money that we're looking to move in for the roof repair, and we've already got the money in the budget for the door repair, any additional maintenance required in 2025 would still be within the budget, whether it's in the jail fund or other funds. So we would not have to make another amendment going forward. The money is within this 2025 budget somewhere. Correct?
For those items, correct.
For, anything else that we're looking at that's required to fix or maintain that's defective in the current jail.
Well, that depends on when we get those bids back. So if
Yeah.
it supersedes the 20,000 in the outlay or the 14,000 jail assessment, then we would ultimately have to be looking for additional funds.
But that's what I'm
as it
saying,
stands-
within the jail fund, there's the jail fund. I mean, there's other monies within the budget outside of those funds, dedicated funds.
Is that correct, Mr. Kunish?
There's some in there, but it's not gonna cover.
You want to come to the microphone, please, so we can hear you?
The jail activity has, routine maintenance stuff, but we're not talking 200,000 for things like roofs and big items. Plumbing, if plumbing turned out to be 100,000, I seriously doubt we'd fit that in the existing jail budget. So little things, day-to-day routine things, yes, every building has that. But if we're talking a 60-year-old falling apart building that needs some big item, that probably doesn't fit within the existing jail cell. But I do remember hearing previously that we'll fix what we have to, but not necessarily go above and beyond. And when we have to go above and beyond with the bigger things, then that would have to come back.
Okay. Did you have your hand up, Supervisor Ortlieb? You did not. Okay. Any other questions on the amendment to the motion? All right. That being the case, could we have that motion, the amendment read back?
Supervisor Baker moves to transfer from the general fund to the jail fund, $225,000. Supervisor Romden seconds.
All right. Are we ready to register votes?
I was looking at me, sorry.
That's right.
Jail outlay, not jail fund.
Jail outlay.
Matters to me. I don't know if it does to anybody else.
Supervisor Teske, you had a question?
Does it have to go into the jail fund or can it just go into the jail division?
It has to go
Account.
into the outlay.
It's gonna go into jail outlay account, not the jail fund.
Of the, that would go into the new jail?
No,
No,
the existing jail activity we have, along with all the employees and maintenance for the building and the revenue. There's an outlay account there specifically for the jail, and that's where it'll go into.
Under the jail division?
Correct.
All right.
have it corrected.
okay, and it is corrected. So we're ready to vote. You may register your vote. I have 17 yes, 1 opposed. Motion carries. So that was the amendment to the original motion. Is there any other discussion to the original motion to approve the budget? All right, seeing no further discussion, you may register your vote on the original motion. As amended, correct? Oh, well, wait, we went to bridge aid. We still haven't finished up. fine print before you push the button.
For anyone who didn't hear Mr. Romden's comment, this would be a vote on the amendment or on the resolution as amended. So
correct.
Okay,
just
so
to make
now
sure
we
everybody's on the
have,
same page.
so now you may,
It's not though, because it says up there, resolution 2. I don't know why it says.
yeah, I don't know why yours is reading differently because mine's reading correctly.
I'm not sure either.
Okay, so Supervisor Gillett, Supervisor Kennard, Supervisor Swagel, Supervisor Shelton, there we go. Supervisor Teske, Supervisor.
It's not, it's correct up there. So I don't know why the tablets are saying it, but it is correct on the voting screen. It says resolution number 2.
Supervisor Swagel. All right. We have 16 yes, 2 opposed. Motion carries. Now, we will move on to Bridge Aid. Or no, we'll move past Bridge Aid. We're past that. We'll move on to consideration of ordinances. We have none read at previous county board meeting. Communications, resolutions from other counties. Do we have any?
None.
None. Do we have any Kewaunee County events? All right. Then let's move on. No comments from the chair. You received your, you should have gotten your sheet from Supervisor Teske for next month's meeting. Hard to believe. We'll be having our Christmas party next month. Those December 17th, January 14th are set. I need a motion for February 11th. You want that on the screen? Is there a motion? Supervisor Baker, second by Supervisor Romden. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. Supervisor Vollenweider, second by Supervisor Lazansky. All in favor of the motion signify by saying